Hey, what's up everybody? So my name's Brett Bodkins and I'm typically a landscape photographer. However, I bought this Nikon Z6 II just about a month ago and I haven't really been able to get out and do a whole lot of landscapes. However, I thought that I had enough insight into the lens after the bit that I've been shooting it around here, doing family things and so on and so forth, that I could share with you guys. Because I'm typically a landscape shooter, I like to usually buy a nice, kit lens type thing, 24 to 70. My last one was crop sensor, so 16 to 80 millimeters. And that basically lives on my camera unless I have some situation that I want to capture that that lens is not appropriate for. Like if I need a shallower depth of field, or if I need a longer zoom or something like that. However, for good 80% of everything I shoot, it works perfectly great. And so I was happy to even go with the slower version of this lens, the f4 versus the f2.8, because I do like to travel a lot, and so I wanted to get something that was fairly light. Of course, with the Z camera bodies, you get the in-body image stabilization as well, so it does help out on the shutter speed times. It's more of a depth of field thing, really, with the slower lenses here on the Z camera bodies. Like I said, if you've seen my stuff before, it looks a little something more like this. And I typically shoot very deep depth of field. You probably at f8, f11 on most every shot that I do. So this lens was going to fit pretty well for what I do. And it's probably very similar to the 16 to 80 that I had before for my D500 camera. Now the first thing right off the bat is the lens does work much better for video. You don't really hear the autofocus mechanisms that much, so it makes it a lot better for that. The second thing I really wanted to mention is that you actually can get up fairly close to an object and focus on it, and that's a really big deal on any lens. It makes a huge difference in how close you can get in. You can take a lens that focuses just 6 inches closer, and that makes a world of difference in your shooting. And so that's one thing I really like about this lens, is that you can get in fairly close. So it makes it more usable as an all-purpose lens. So I do quite like that. That also tends to allow you to throw the background more out of focus. And so with a lens like this, that can be quite helpful, being that it is a slower aperture lens. This photo here of my daughter, I knew that it wasn't going to be a great photo or anything like that, but she came up and really stuck her face right into the camera, and so I took the photo anyway out of fun. And I wanted to show, you do get a little bit of wide angle distortion out of this lens when shot that close. So it's kind of interesting to be able to use it in that way. A lot of kit lenses you can't use in that way. And so that is very helpful and cool. So I have a couple photos that I shot that I just wanted to give you an idea of the type of bokeh that you could get out of this lens. It's not going to be world class on an f4 zoom lens. However, it can be quite useful in separating the subject from the background, as you can see in a couple of these photos here. Now I did want to just show one example here where I did try some star shots just out of the backyard here, and there is some light pollution and such where I'm at. But it was a pretty clear night and I got some decent photos. It's very helpful when you're shooting that type of stuff to be able to have a fast aperture on your lens. However, I just wanted to see what I could get at less than 20 seconds or so, to make sure that I didn't have the stars trail out. And I think I was pretty happy with that. The high ISO capability of the Z6 II is actually fairly good. So I can use higher ISOs than even on my D500 camera. So that's pretty nice. Like I said, I really didn't get out and do many landscapes with this lens at this time. However, I took just a couple close to the house here, and it's worked out pretty well. I like the images from it. Here is another example here, as well as this one here that I took up the road a little ways. A few on the foggy day that we had here a week or two ago. As I mentioned, you can get in pretty close, and I just wanted to give an idea of what that looks like here. Other than that, pretty much everything that I shot here was just images of my family, my daughter, that sort of thing. And so we had a little bit of fun. Most of the lighting has been pretty bad lately. Besides the one foggy day, it's just I haven't really been able to get out during good times of day to shoot or anything like that. So as you can see in this photo here, you can get in pretty close. I could get quite a bit of detail here of the dew on the clovers, and that's a pretty good example, as well as this shot here of the water droplets on my dad's truck. And I don't know what type of plant this is, but you can see pretty well all the little spider webs with the dew suspended in the web. Looks pretty cool. A lot of, this photo may not look good until you blow it up, but when you zoom in here a little bit, you can definitely see all the detail. As you know, Lightroom takes a second to load in situations like that. However, you can see here that it does have quite a good amount of detail here. So I would highly recommend this lens for a lot of you guys that are similar situation to me. Maybe you shoot a lot of landscapes, everything's done at narrow apertures anyway, or you want something light to take with you all the time as a walk around lens, or for hiking trips, things like that. If shallow depth of field isn't something you're worried about, then this is a great lens for that. Me personally, I basically keep a lens like this on my camera 90% of the time, and then I just switch to another if I want something like a shallow depth of field effect or something like that. So me personally, I tend to not get caught up in the technical aspects of a lens. I think the best way is to just sort of look at image examples and to decide if the lens will do what you want it to do. So I wanted to post a few image examples. This lens does work pretty well for portraits, in my opinion. For general purpose portraiture, you're not going to get the full-on crazy shallow depth of field effects you would with some other lenses. However, just as a walk-around lens, it seems to perform pretty well. You do get a little bit of vignetting in that on the lens when you don't have the corrections turned on. However, it does take care of most of that whenever you go in and fix the image in post. Personally, for portraitures and some other type of work, I do allow some vignetting anyway, even adding it in some cases. Overall, I'm very happy with this lens, and the autofocus is quite different from other cameras that I've owned, and so compared to the D500, for example, the D500 is a great for sports and wildlife type of shooting. It's probably overkill for what I usually do, and so overall I think I can be happy with the Z6 combo, and for the type of landscapes and stuff, I don't typically need autofocus anyway. Alright guys, I hope this helps some of you, and if you get any questions about the lens, feel free to hit me up, and I will come out with the Z6 video later on when I've spent more time with the camera. So far I have reasons why I bought the Z6 video, just to explain the thinking and the overall viewpoint of why I chose it. However, I'll do a true review a couple months down the line probably. If you get any questions in the meantime, feel free to ask, and I'll answer what I can. Alright, take care guys.